No, I rock dog that energy.
I also
No,
raw
thank
dog
you.
it and said, "You ain't brave enough. Do it. Show yourself."
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Turn into Zach Bagans.
Boo.
Just start yelling at the
No.
ghosts like,
Come at
come
me,
at
Why are
girl.
you
me.
running?
No, thank you. No. Hello, fiends, and welcome back to Geeky Ghouls. We're your hosts. I'm Claudia.
Bree.
And I'm Cheyenne.
Join us as we explore the haunted history of the Davis Horton House and the Grand Horton Hotel, two of San Diego's most infamous paranormal hotspots.
So how are you guys doing tonight?
Well, let's see. It is now 12 a.m. and
Yeah, that's the time to come alive. What do you mean?
We feel sleepy.
No.
I got the sleepy weepies. Eepies?
I definitely do.
Okay. Well, you guys aren't excited about this topic, this episode?
I am excited about this topic. Hold up. This is a
I'm
really
excited
important
about this
topic
topic because we
because
actually have experience in this topic. We got
exactly,
some.
we've all been
You.
there. We've all felt the weight of the presence of the other world within the same space and time continuum.
That was a really fun time.
And there's lots of snacks.
I turned 30 and
Was
we
there
were like,
snacks?
let's
I remember the
go
big
commune
bottle
with
of
ghosts.
wine, but not the snacks.
And this is all checks out with the last episode, which I will not repeat, but if you heard it, then you know what I'm referring to. Priorities, people, let me tell you.
Yes, I have priorities, apparently. Not the snacks. But let's go ahead and jump onto this. The David Horton House was built in 1850 and is one of the oldest standing structures in downtown San Diego. It serves as the home of the Gaslamp Quarter Historical Foundation and the Gaslamp Museum at the Davis Horton House. So, who is Davis and who is Alondo Horton? How did this joint collaboration even begin? Well, it wasn't exactly a joint collaboration. It was more like one of them stepping away from some losses and the other one picking up the pieces where he left off. But let's clear up some of the details as we get into some of this history. And let's start with Davis.
So, William Heath Davis is credited as the earliest investor who pioneered the development of what is now known today as downtown San Diego. He made the decision in 1850 to buy 8 salt box style homes from the East Coast and have them brought here. So he brought these salt box homes from the East Coast to the West Coast, and the town was now called Newtown. Newtown was the name given to the town being built along the bay. There were many homes, a store, a park, a wharf, and military barracks in Newtown. Pantoja Park, as it is known, is still visible from F Street. Regretfully, not many people desired to relocate to Newtown because there was no portable water close to the community. Davis gave up on his goal of founding a great city close to San Diego Bay after a massive fire in San Francisco destroyed the majority of his fortune. His dreams were slashed, penniless. Davis eventually abandoned future attempts to expand the town and went back home to San Francisco. However, his efforts weren't in vain. A man named Alonzo Horton soon followed in Davis' footsteps and started to develop the town. 1867, Mr. and Mrs. Alonzo Horton came to San Diego looking for residency. Mr. Horton found that there were 3 houses and the barracks left from Davis's earlier attempts to establish a seaport in the area. Horton purchased one of the houses that is now State and Market Streets for $100. The district became known as Horton's Addition or Newtown. I can imagine buying a house for $100 in San Diego today.
I
Would love that.
wish.
I would love that for
I
us.
I'd buy
know.
you
Just
all a
$100
house.
homes. That means like mansions were maybe just $1,000. I would love that for us
That would be so
I
amazing.
in San
I
Diego.
know.
Looking at that bay. All that bay.
Beautiful
Oh, I
scenic
know.
view, beachfront
Ugh.
property.
All the brunch areas. Would love it.
I mean, back then it wasn't really a brunch area. I don't think the Victorians were worried about brunch.
think they were worried
um,
about a few other things happening in town.
I mean,
yeah. So I know I heard it on a tour of Hotel del Coronado, but back then the Victorians, they would come to the seaside not for like, now when we go you want like the ocean front view, you want to see the ocean. No, back then they were just there for the air because things like tuberculosis and stuff was rampant, and the fresh air they thought would heal you of everything.
so it was more
Nothing
like a
like the
little vacation.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that nothing like the fear of tuberculosis to make you go outside.
Just breathe in that salt air.
No
But the
need to
pandemic
Netflix and chill. I just need some sea air today.
if the pandemic taught me anything, it's to stay in my house.
But don't you remember everyone wanted to go outside the moment they were told they couldn't?
I know, suddenly you wanted to be outside. It was weird.
I don't
I'll
know.
show
If I
you.
could spend $100 on a house in San Diego, I definitely would have, made the trip down to San Diego and quarantined myself from that tuberculosis.
Sorry. Anyways, while waiting for the construction of the first of their many mansions, god dang, Mr.
Thousand
Horton
dollars, we
initiated.
could do it. We could have done it. $1,000 mansions,
We
many
just need a time
mansions,
machine, and we
many
need to go back in
mansions.
time and buy our houses and then
They
leave
would
it
be
to us.
worth millions.
Yeah, I don't really know about that because of the time period, but we can send you back incognito with $100. Will even look proper? Or no, it would
No,
probably be a
no,
whole
Well,
she
different
no,
would
we
need
would
at
have to
design.
least
send,
God
5,000.
damn.
and we wouldn't be able to do it. We'd have to send a man to go buy it for us.
Jeez. Can't you just pretend to
Yeah.
be a man for one day?
I mean, let me just grow in my beard and my mustache.
With our powers combined, we can make you into a handsome fella ready to go
Thank
to
Some
the
you.
bank
fine
and
fella
buy
with
property.
$5,000 in his pocket
Oh my goodness.
We
I
could
mean,
live
the
our dream
flattery.
of having a whole cul-de-sac.
could buy a mansion cul-de-sac in San Diego. Think about it.
I'm thinking about it. Okay, we need to get back to the history. So $100, he bought a house, yada yada. While waiting for the construction of their first of many mansions, Mr. Horton initiated the first real estate boom in San Diego by creating his own real estate business. At first, there was much opposition from the residents of the former site of the town center, which became known as Old Town. But new businesses began to flood into the track due to its convenience of ships arriving from the east. Eventually, the new addition began to eclipse Old Town in importance. As the heart of the growing city, local land exploded in price through the 1880s, making Horton a financial success yet again. Horton helped to establish San Diego's Chamber of Commerce in an effort to further expand the developing city in 1867. Horton was the first person to ask for a public city park to be developed, which later became what we know today as Balboa Park. I know I've been to Balboa Park. Have you both been to Balboa?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yes, it is amazing. I am glad he founded that. It is awesome addition to San Diego.
I know. I love
If
that
you're
place.
ever
And
You ever drop by San Diego, go to Balboa Park, go to Old Town, go to the Bay Area. It's
go to
nice,
the
it's
Gaslamp
fun.
District.
Oh, yes. We'll get into that in a little bit, but yes, so fun.
Yes.
Now, let's talk about when things start to get spooky. Now that we've delved into the house origins, let's uncover the chilling tales that have earned the Davis Horton House haunted reputation. The home itself has a colorful past, with a long list of owners, each with its own unique backstory. Now, Davis did not actually live in his namesake house. It was attributed to him because of the style and the structures he brought over to the area when first developing the land. Among the house residents were Alonzo Horton, the man who finished what Davis started, and his wife, Sarah. It's even said that a German spy called the Davis house his home at one time. The reported spy was a German man named Karl Offer. Offer arrived in the United States in 1915 and listed his occupation as a fine jewelry importer. On July 12, 1917, he was arrested as an alien enemy. German immigrants Hermann and Lena Laumann allowed Offer to use their attic as a lookout to track the American Pacific Fleet in the San Diego Bay.
You're probably thinking, like, why is this even important? All this information definitely comes into play later. So let's keep it in mind and go on to the next notable resident of the David Horton House, which is Anna Sheeper, who she purchased the house in 1873 after it had been moved from the State and Market to 11 and K Streets. Anna made a contract with San Diego County to rent a house as the county or the country hospital. She earned $1 per patient per day. While old homes doesn't automatically qualify for hauntings, the house's history suggests otherwise. Not only was this house once a hospital with 3 confirmed deaths inside, it was also a makeshift military barracks at some point too, which is really hard to pinpoint when exactly that is, but it definitely is in the history, and no confirmed deaths were within that history timeline because it was unrecorded. Although rumors of the confirmed deaths are possible, they are not correct. And there is an abundance of unexplained otherworldly activity in this structure. And during its time as a hospital, the tetanus outbreak occurred in the area. So, guides during the ghost tours claim that it was a hospice care center, which, if true, would drastically increase the death toll. So, how is this house now? Throughout the years, the house was purchased and cherished by numerous owners and was eventually donated to the city by the Lanzua family. A year-long restoration project led largely formed by museum curator Mary Drurlon returned the house to its current location and state. So this house was not only used to be by the Bay Area, but it was picked up and moved twice to where it currently is right now. So the David Horton House, if you go into it today, showcases the evolution of its history throughout its decor. Each room is furnished in a different style from a different era reflecting its time. So there's like a pre-war office barracks, there's a hospital, there's a private area where it just looks like a regular Victorian home. And today visitors are welcome to visit the house as it is set up as a museum. There is a lot of reports of apparitions, spooky sightings, and very much a lot of paranormal activity happening, which we're also going to get into the hauntings right now. Well, most of the activity involves things being moved and lights being turned off and on. There has also been a few sightings. The first ghost people report sighting is a woman dressed in Victorian era clothing and has been seen at the top of the stairs near where the children's room is today. Interesting enough, the ghost almost is always seen only from the waist down. A small chest containing old medicine bottles is kept on the top of the dresser upstairs in one of the room and is left so visitors can see the contents of like different kinds of medicines that they would use during when it was a hospital. And the museum staff claims that every time they put the bottles in the chest, they'll come back and they'll be in various different places. So rumors spread that it could possibly, the ghost doing this could possibly be Anna herself or even the wife of Horton. It's unclear who it is since the ghost is only seen from the waist down.
Do you
There's
think the
this.
ghost forgot to wear pants?
No,
I
she's
feel
seen
like
from the waist down. So she
Only
forgot
for
to
the
wear a
waist down?
shirt.
Oh.
Yes.
well,
She only is seen from the waist down.
I think there would be more notice to that if that's what people were seeing. If they're like, I saw a woman with no pants on or her woman's bottom. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying. I think
Wait,
she.
guys. Waist down? What if it's a Fresno Nightcrawler? What if this is like
But they didn't wear pants in the Victorian age, so I assume people think it's a woman because it's a
it's a
dress.
or
Victorian
a
Fresno
skirt.
Nightcrawler?
It's
Victoria.
like I'm only fancy.
What
In
if it's actually
Yeah.
Victoria.
just a black eyed child?
It could be. I mean,
It's wearing clothes from a different decade.
Yes.
it's just
Let me
interesting to
in.
me that it's the waist down ghosts. I think the best ghost in this house is going to be this next one, which it's rumored to be haunted by a ghostly feline. Yes, that is correct. A cat. Visitors often tell the museum staff that they saw a cat in one of the rooms, and it runs out and suddenly disappears. Others have reported hearing meowing and being unable to find where the meowing has come from. They've also captured many EVPs of cats meowing. Staff and visitors have also reported objects that are mysteriously knocked off of counters, just as like the behavior of cats would do when when they knock off something off the counter, where it's kind of just like slowly and then it just like goes off the edge.
Yeah, it's kind of
For
like a
those people
pat
who have
pat,
cats, yeah, like it's
pat
like a
pat
little tap tap and then it just
Mhm.
comes
until it
off the
like
counter.
falls off. Yep.
Yes, so many visitors have reported seeing that. Additionally, some visitors claim they have seen an apparition of a man in the attic. This spectral figure is believed to be Karl Offer, the German spy who used the attic to spy on the American Pacific Fleet, or it could be a spirit of a man during the World War II period, as this house was also home to the military barracks at some point of time. The man is unnamed and unknown, but he has been seen and reported multiple occasions, and he has been said to be one of the most angry and violent spirits in the house. But we also want to talk about another property that Alonzo Horton built, the Davis Horton House's neighbor, the Horton Grand Hotel, which originates from the late 1800s. However, the hotel that stands today is actually the recreation of two 1800 hotels re envisioned in the heart of the Gaslamp District. It incorporates both of the original Grand, the Horton Grand, as well as the Brooklyn Kale Satterley Hotel.
The Grand Horton Hotel opened in 1886. It was an elegant, ornate, Italianate Victorian structure built by German immigrant Peter Meyerhofer in his desire to replicate the Innsbruck Hotel in Austria. It was constructed by prominent San Diego architects Comstock and Troch. I tried looking up how to pronounce that name. I know I'm butchering it. So Comstock and Troch are the San Diego architects. The hotel was one of 300 structures that was built during the boom in the 1800s. One of them also being the Hotel del Coronado, which opened 2 years later. Famous guests of the um, Grand Horton include the famed lawman Wyatt Earp in 1886, and in 1891, the Chamber of Commerce rented out a ground floor space of the Grand Horton and became a focal point of civic activity. Prominent figures stopped by the hotel during these years, including President Benjamin Harrison. He was the 23rd president during the years of 1889 to 1893, and King Kalakua of Hawaii. I'm really hoping I'm pronouncing that right. I'm so sorry. Also to note is the Brooklyn Kale Saddlery Hotel. The Brooklyn Hotel, as it was originally named, was a less formal building styled in what had been a cowboy Victorian motif. Opened in 1887, originally, as I said, named Brooklyn Hotel, it was later dubbed Brooklyn Kale Saddlery after the prominent saddle and harness shop that occupied the ground floor of the hotel in 1912. The Kale Saddlery made hand-carved saddles and tacks for such notables as Tom Mix and Roy Rogers, both are old Western stars, and a host of other film and rodeo stars. If you go to the lobby of the Grand Horton Hotel, they have a statue of a horse, and its name is Sunshine. So stop by and say hi.
Yes, but don't touch. There's a big sign that says you cannot touch the big horse.
I'm not gonna lie, I not once did I want to touch that horse. It looked
It looks too real. It looks like a real horse.
And it kind of looks a little
Hmm.
mangy. It's
It's a very old horse, but it looks real and it's very off putting. I don't want to touch it, but it's an interesting historical figure for the hotel.
Mhm.
So we're going to go ahead and talk about the recreation of the Horton Grand Hotel, which the two hotels were located on F Street where the Horton Plaza Mall now stands in the late 1970s. The city purchased the hotels to build the mall, but local developers and preservationists fought to save them. The hotels were dismantled brick by brick, with each brick being numbered and cataloged and stored. The hotels were then rebuilt into one hotel at their current location. The San Diego architect Wayne Dolson led the restoration. The cost? The hotel costs 12 million to deconstruct, store, and restore. The Horton Grand Hotel in San Diego was rebuilt in 1986 after being dismantled and stored in the late 1970s.
Now, let's step back in time to the Gaslamp Quarter's notorious past. Today, this vibrant district is a hub for dining, shopping, and entertainment. But a century ago, the Gaslamp Quarter, then known as the Stingery, was a seedy underworld of vice and crime. Gamblers, thieves, and prostitutes roamed the streets, preying on unsuspecting victims. The Stingery's reputation was so notorious that it earned its name from the likelihood of being stung by its dangerous inhabitants, rather than by a stingray from the Pacific Ocean. Fortunately, the Stingery underwent a remarkable transformation. As the city's more conservative residents shunned the area, it gradually evolved into the thriving cultural center it is today.
I don't know. The Stingery sounds like that sounds cool. That sounds like it would have been a fun time.
Sounds like disease.
Yeah, that
No.
too.
I guess back then. Today that would sound cool. I mean, if you ever go to Gaslamp, it's pretty fun.
I don't think it's the same kind of entertainment that they used to have, though. So, one of the infamous residents of the Stingery is the feisty, red haired Ida Bailey, the Madame of Pale Yellow Cottage, dubbed the Canary Cottage. The Canary Cottage was located next to the original Grand Horton Hotel. Prostitutes of this time were plentiful, but Ida Bailey and her ladies were the jewels of the Stingery. These women dressed as if they were going to an opera every evening. They spoke of sophistication, class. They had a parlor conversations with the gentlemen callers. The wealthy, well known businessmen of San Diego at the time were Ida Bailey's most frequent customers. Her brothel was very wealthy because it was filled with wealthy, powerful men, enabling the success and continuation of the Canary Cottage for so long.
You go, Ida. You go, Ida Bailey.
Right? Look at her. Entrepreneur. Another factor in Ida Bailey's success was her knack for marketing at the time. Oh, hell yeah, marketing girly, love it.
Hell yeah, she's boss babe.
She would hire a carriage every Sunday and take her girls for a drive through residential San Diego. This drive horrified and enraged housewives. But the men, they thought it was quite entertaining. Some even claim Ida Bailey was the forerunner of outdoor advertising in San Diego. Raids happened frequently in the gas lamp, but Ida Bailey was always tipped off in advance. Both the mayor and the chief of police were frequent customers of the Canary Cottage, so it's no wonder Ida Bailey made it through unscathed most of the time.
Dang, she really is boss babe. Not only was she the police in chief on her side, the mayor.
Hell
Right?
yeah.
Could you
Hell
Okay,
yeah.
Ida
imagine?
Bailey.
She gonna be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
I'm
you get
sure
that
she was
coin.
fine. Her and her ladies all dressed up in their finest outfits.
Hmm.
Well, unfortunately, Ida Bailey, her time did come to an end. And that was during the Great Raid. The Great Raid was planned for November 11th, 1912, at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning. The police struck, and 138 women were arrested, and all men caught in the raid were set free. Motherfuckers. right?
Wait, what? Why were they
What?
arrested?
Right? They're
Well,
committing
not the
adultery. Wait, what
men.
were the laws back then?
They're just doing their job, their
Patriarchy.
entrepreneuring job.
Nope. They were bad, and they just led those poor men astray. Those poor innocent men.
Poor innocent married men from the suburbs.
Oh, yes. Oh, poor babies.
Not much has changed. Oh.
Anyways, after the raid, many buildings in the Stingery were torn down and Chinatown was then created. Now elderly Ida Bailey retired and lived the rest of her days in a home located near the police station. Due to her time and fame in the town, at Christmas, when baskets were given to the firemen to pass out to the needy, they always made sure Ida Bailey was to receive one and made sure it was filled up with everything she would need.
Damn. She still gets a delivery from the like muscly firemen? Could you imagine?
They're like, I remember Ida Bailey. You guys
You gotta
remember
pay
Ida
tribute.
Bailey?
I know, yeah.
The mayor, the police. They're like, I remember
The
Ida
firemen.
Bailey.
Oh man. It was wild back then, let me tell you, kids.
I really hope they
Well,
didn't tell their kids how wild Ida Bailey was.
Well, no, I don't think they meant their actual kids. I mean, I'm imagining firemen telling younger firemen coming in,
Oh,
police
they're like,
chief.
let me tell
yep,
you about Ida Bailey.
Yeah.
yep.
The new
Not
recruits.
hello,
Not
my
actual
dear
children. That is
sweet
concerning.
like daughter. Let me tell you about my time.
With Ida Bailey.
No. That is not what we meant.
Well, the mom's like,
Sorry,
what the heck?
sorry, Ida Bailey, for laughing. We're not laughing at you. We're just
No, I
teasing.
respect you, Ida Bailey.
Hell yeah, you have
Respect.
so much respect from us.
Right? Amazing entrepreneur marketing skills.
Anyways,
Unlike. Go ahead.
so Ida, she's, this big name throughout town. So, surprisingly, or maybe unsurprisingly, it is said that Ida Bailey haunts the halls of the Grand Horton. Madame Bailey is said to haunt room 209. Guests of the room claim to hear knocking at the door, but it is said if a woman answers the door, she'll walk out and see nothing. But if a man opens the door, he'll see a woman with red hair wearing a red dress, and she'll slowly start dissipating before his eyes. There are other guests who say that they have seen a woman matching her description in the room, but have reported that she's very friendly, which we love.
My question is, why does she haunt the hotel, though? Because she was a frequent visitor?
No, it is because the Canary House used to sit where the Horton is now.
So she's still trying to make calls to people, but only men.
She's a
Yes.
businesswoman.
Yeah.
Even in death,
Even
she
at
is a
She knows
that.
her
businesswoman.
clientele.
I love
She
that for
keeps them
her.
wanting too, because she's like, you see me and now you don't.
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
don't.
Ooh. This is honestly going to be her fan club right here. I'm so impressed by
Yes, we are.
I am
Ida
super
Bailey fan club. Let's
impressed.
get it going.
Because even if you try to rent out this particular room, 209, it is booked in advance. Because people want to see Ida Bailey. They want to see
Mm-hmm.
her in her little
I
red
mean, I
dress.
would. There is, however, another room and another ghost that does haunt the Horton. And he's in room 309. His name is Roger Whittaker. Now, Roger Whittaker was a big time gambler, drunk, and all around fiend of the stingery. Roger had incurred a massive debt and decided, you know how I'm going to get rid of this debt? I'm going to cheat at a game of cards. Now, this went exactly how you would imagine back in the day. It did not go well for him. He got shot and he fled. And as he fled, he climbed into a armoire in a nearby hotel, which is now the Grand. But he didn't realize that his gunshot wound would leave a trail of blood, leaving him back to his location. And those people found him and shot him again, where he died. Now, the guests that stay in room 309 have reported seeing a male-like figure dressed in a cowboy regalia, and just like Ida Bailey, just starts to disappear in front of their eyes.
It's very interesting because the hotel is, I assume 309 is on the 3rd level.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that he was in the armory?
Armoire.
Armoire. Is that on the 1st level of the hotel? I would
don't
just think it's very
know.
interesting why he picked the room 309 and not the 1st level of the hotel.
I thought
Maybe.
that just meant he was in the closet and that all the rooms can have
That's what I'm
closets.
thinking now too. I'm like, is he in the closet?
Not
No, he's
anymore.
in
Imagine
the
opening your
armoire.
closet when you're there and he's just in there.
He's just in there. He's just in the armoire.
I feel like if I was him,
Right next to your robe.
I would just hanging there on with your robe.
Oh God.
Okay, if I was him, I would maybe do that, but I would also be like, I don't know if you guys know what this hotel looks like, but they have a wonderful bar part. I would just be sitting at the bar most of the time, being like, "Hey, what's up? What's going on?"
So the bar is where the Canary House used to sit.
Oh, so that's not his part of the house. That's Ida Bailey's side of the house.
That's Ida Bailey's. Yep.
Serving up drinks, serving up
That's her
looks.
territory.
Yep.
She's like, no, you go over there. You go to the 3rd floor.
This
back to your
this is my spot. You go over there. Okay? Unless you're paying, you go over there.
Oh, I guess. Well, he can't afford Ida Bailey.
Yeah, because
so,
he's broke. That's why he was cheating at cards.
Sent to the 3rd floor. Makes sense.
I just want to point out one really quick thing. I now know that Bree wants to be hanging in the closet. She spooks us. So.
If I die and I become a ghost, I'm gonna do the most ghostiest ghost things like that and be in your closet. And
Are you gonna be like the
you.
couple in Beetlejuice where they're trying to scare?
Yes.
What?
Why else would you be a ghost? Just saying.
Anyways, room 309. So not only do they see this figure dressed as a cowboy, also they'll hear knocking on their doors, lights will flicker, and the bed frames will move.
What do you mean move? Like wiggle? Like levitate off the floor?
Be 5 feet from where I found it?
Yeah.
And what about the rest of the bed?
What's going on here?
I need to see these bed frames.
I believe it starts shaking, or it just moves.
Like The Exorcist? That's interesting.
Which I'm going to say that could also be like, Ida Bailey did her business in that area.
It could just be her.
I'm just trying to give her all the credit she deserves.
I know. Ida Bailey.
It's all Ida Bailey.
She's making that bed rock, as she promised.
Even in the afterlife, yeah. Get it, girl. Anyways, do we want to talk about our time there now?
Yeah, we decided to talk about these properties because A, super famously haunted. B, we all stayed at the Grand Horton Hotel and did a little ghost investigation. So let's start.
Well, the one year, was like, I'm going to Google haunted hotels in San Diego and force my friends to stay there with me because it's my 30th birthday. And so on the list was Hotel del Coronado, the Horton Grand, and there's another one in Old Town that I am totally blanking on the name. Give me 1 second. Quick Google.
The Whaley House? I'm just kidding. You can't stay there.
You have to stay there. Just pitch a tent. We'll make it work.
Right there in the yard.
Yeah. A little campy, little s'mores for you. Mm.
I believe, yep, the US grant.
Oh, also Grant. Hmm.
Yes. So it the three options I chose were either Hotel del Coronado, the Horton Grand, or the US grant. And I liked the US grant. However, it was either they didn't have rooms for that time, or um, it could have also been that I wanted to be more close to downtown, because then you can like walk around more and get to more stuff without having to worry about driving places. So I kind of
Yes,
scratched that off. I've always wanted to stay at Hotel del Coronado. It's a beautiful property. It is so expensive though. So that was a quick never mind. And so I went with the Horton Grand.
yes, because I believe the Grand Horton Hotel is on the corner of Gaslamp, which, if you don't know Gaslamp, that's where all the bars and dining experiences are. So we thought it would be fun to stay at that hotel versus the other one so that, we can do a little bar hopping after. It was her birthday.
Hmm. It was also fun because when I was looking at photos, I'm like, it was very Victorian. It had a sleigh bed and it had a fireplace and an armoire. And I was just like, this place is so cool. I need to stay here. So on top of that, I was like, cool. Which, by the way, I guess I should mention my birthday is in October. So your girl loves the spooky stuff, obviously, with this podcast. um, and so I also decided, you know what, I'm going to drag everybody onto a ghost tour.
Yeah, so we booked the hotel and we also booked a ghost tour, which took us on a few locations located around Old Town San Diego. Which the other Oak location that was earlier we talked about, the Davis Horton House, is right across the street diagonally from the Grand Horton Hotel. You can see it from the Grand Horton Hotel if you just walk across the street. And I think that's pretty interesting because when we were booking the hotel, we didn't know that was one of the haunted locations we would be visiting.
Yeah, I had no clue about that one. I mean, they took us by the Whaley House. Yeah. Um, they took us to the Villa Montezuma, which we'll probably talk about in a different episode. And they took us to the Horn Grand, and they took us to the Davis Horton House.
Yes, as it
Um,
stands now, the David Horton House stands as a museum and a historical foundation, allowing you to do your own visits and self guided investigations if you want to for yourself, or you can actually choose a tour guide to guide you. The tour guides will take you to multiple locations like they did, or you could just visit one location if you want to just visit the Whaley House or the David Horton House or the Grand Horton Hotel or Hotel Coronado. You could choose to visit the just one.
yeah, and they almost all of them have their own ghost tour. I know Coronado has a ghost tour.
Yes, and the Whaley House has its own ghost tour. I highly recommend if you are very interested in the Whaley House, take the Whaley House ghost tour because it will let you inside of the house. The one we went to let us look around the Whaley House. So that is a separate investigation you would have to do for yourself.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Um,
they also took us to that cemetery in Old Town too.
Oh, that's
Well,
right.
all of Old Town is technically a cemetery they built on top of. If you guys didn't know that, now you know. When you're walking through Old Town, you're walking on a bunch of little graves.
Yeah, if you look down, there's little markers. It's like a little piece of metal. It almost looks like somebody dropped a coin on the ground, and you look at it, and it'll say gravesite, and you're like, oh, okay.
So I'm going to talk about our first investigation, which was what we talked about first was the David Horton house. When we're walking up to this house, it's a fully fenced in house, big black gates because it is a protected site museum. You have to be let in. But when you're stepping inside of this house, it you looks like you just stepped into the Victorian ages. It's a little old yellow house. You walk up the steps. It has like a little wraparound porch. But as soon as they open that door to that house, that you could feel how dense the air felt and how humid it was. I don't know if it was just me. Mind you, we're at night in October visiting this house.
Yeah, it wasn't even like they didn't even have to open the door for the house. They just opened the gate onto the property, and I immediately felt just dizzy. I could feel my heart beating really fast. I felt like I was going to pass the fuck out.
Yeah, definitely the air felt heavy, but I know it affected one of our friends more than you or me, right? Like she had to ask to step outside at some point.
Yes, I believe she made it maybe 20 minutes. They do give you a fair amount of time whenever you're ready to leave the house, but as soon as they open the door, the guide hands you an EMF, which is electromagnetic field reader, which if you've never heard of that, it's a common belief amongst paranormal investigators that it helps you interact with ghosts and their environment. And they let us into the living room, gave us a quick history description, and said, here's your EMF reader. You can go ahead and explore the house.
And y'all
Yeah.
did exactly what I expected you to.
Yes, asking a bunch
We
of
went
dumb
straight to the kitchen.
questions.
We went straight to the kitchen, and in the kitchen it's cute. They have like all the old like kitchen appliances. But they also have like little fake food and stuff. One of them being a loaf of bread. And it was us and our friend, and he and I were asking dumb questions. We're pointing it towards the bread, and we're like, "Do you like bread?" And then that thing lit all the way up.
They really liked bread. They said, yeah, we like bread.
Oh,
It's like you asked what nobody's asked before.
yes.
Yes. So
So
I've,
he,
Do you
sorry, go
remember
ahead.
what kind of bread that it liked?
it just looked like a country, like, big round loaf bread that they put there. And so he and we started asking, like, do you like it toasted? Do you like it with butter? Do you like it like this? And then eventually we're like, do you just like plain bread? And it lit up again.
That was a real one right there. It knew
Yeah.
exactly how to go for our hearts. Mr.
Yes.
Ghost
Yes.
Bread. Bread Ghost.
So I've actually done this exact tour twice. And the first time I did it, everyone was kind of chill, but there's always that one person who's absolutely terrified of like everything. I just remember there being a girl on our tour and she has her EMF reader. She's just walking around with it and she's scared, visibly scared because like any noise she's like eek, eek, like screaming and her thing was going off the whole time. And I honestly think it was because she was so scared. It was attracting something. I don't know what, but these ghosts aren't they messing around if you're scared.
I
And I
mean,
don't know
I
about
think
you
it's,
guys, but this home definitely gives you an unsettling presence inside.
yeah. I know I personally opted not to look at the attic mostly because I'm like, I don't want to bring something home. I already know things like me. I don't want to do that. I think that was personally one of the things I was a little worried about when we went on this little tour.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
You
I
have
didn't
the
want to
choice.
either.
You have the choice to go upstairs, which most of the paranormal activity is upstairs and in the attic, if you're brave enough, of course.
Now, if you
Uh,
remember, that's where the angry male character that we described earlier
yes, the angry
Yeah.
resides.
spirit, maybe the World War II man, maybe the German spy is in the attic.
I didn't want to find out.
Yeah, I didn't want to go up there because, like I said, the moment we crossed that like threshold, like crossed over onto the property, I immediately felt like so heavy, so dizzy, just so that I was like, I'm not going up those stairs. I'm not gonna like pass out because I already feel like absolute crap on the bottom floor. And up until this point, I had been fine. I had nothing, nothing fell off. I wasn't sick. Nothing. Moment I crossed that line, felt awful.
Yeah, the air was definitely heavy. I think personally, and we'll get into like each of our own personal backgrounds, but I think like personally, I immediately started being like, "Oh, that's right. Let's focus on creating a little bit of protection here. Let's picture yourself being a big, round, glowing ball, and nothing can enter this space."
No, I rock dog that energy.
I also
No,
rug
thank
dog
you.
it and said, "You ain't brave enough. Do it. Show yourself."
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Turn into Zach Bagans.
Be like,
Boo!
Just start yelling at the
no.
ghosts like,
Come at
"Come
me,
at
Why are
girl.
you
me!"
running?
No, thank you. No, no, no.
Oh my god. But can we talk about how different the presence is like when you're inside the house versus when you're outside the house in like the little courtyard area where they have the little statues of the dogs in the park and like little benches? I think it's so interesting. Like they have this house with this history, and right next to it, they got two little good boys statues for being little good dogs of San
No.
Diego.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to balance out those energies, something good with something
Exactly.
bad.
That's what contains the energy in that fence are the two good boys in the
Yeah,
yard.
they're
Yeah.
guarding everything.
So I do want to talk about some theories. We did talk about some of the hauntings in this house, what could possibly be the female apparition where you only see the waist down. So we don't really know who that female is, but it's likely that it's Anna because she did run the hospital where it said that there is multiple deaths. When we took the tour, they said that there was numerous deaths because there was an outbreak of tetanus going around during that time. She was paid $1 per patient. So if I was a working lady back then, I'd be like, let's turn over some patients, you know? I
What
don't
kind of
know.
working lady are we talking about? Because
Well, obviously she's
She's
not
not talking
Ida
about
Bailey.
she's
working
not one of
nine
Ida
to
Bailey's.
five.
Okay.
She's not making as much as Ida Bailey. So she's got to turn some patients, so do a fast turn rate on these patients
What, like a
because
rotisserie chicken? Is
You're
that what we're
making
talking
some
about?
strong allegations here.
I am not making the strong allegations. I remember taking the tour and them exaggerating the heck out of this part. So when I went to go back and confirm our resources, I only found 3 confirmed deaths in this house. So I just want to know why it is so haunted and why the air in there feels so nasty.
Probably that
Like,
angry man.
you think one spirit is enough to do it?
Yeah, maybe.
Probably
Hmm.
some hidden bodies in the basement. I don't know.
I feel like they implied that, but I was like, there's no way. There's no evidence in that. That there's anything, especially since this house has literally been picked up and moved twice to where its location is now.
Yeah, I mean, the angry spirit could also be something else,
Hmm.
which could make it stronger.
Something that was
And
there
it could be
before.
why it was attracted to the girl that was scared, feeding off of that energy.
Hmm.
Hmm. So it could be a more sinister force in play in that house.
My brain,
That
just another narcissist.
Yep,
Probably, I don't know.
it's like this is about me, guys.
gaslighting
On the
everybody
gas lamp.
At the gas lamp.
in the Gaslamp District.
Oh my goodness. So going back to the hotel, because at the end of this lovely haunted tour, we had to go back to our lovely haunted hotel and spend the night. Where they do walk you through the lobby if you do take that tour. They don't let you see the rooms or anything, just the lobby part. And they explain some of the history and how room 209 and 309 are booked years in advance. So if you want to even attempt to try to stay in those rooms, try to book it like a year in advance because those rooms are booked, especially during spooky season.
Do you
Um,
think we should try and go back next year?
We could.
we could, or we could try to do the grant. You said we
I
could.
want to
What
The
do you
space
mean?
go.
grant.
I want to go to the house with the weird building
The house with
House
the
with the
weird
weird
building.
building?
with doors that lead to nowhere.
Oh, the Winchester Mystery House.
Yes,
That
the
is on my
Winchester.
bucket list. I've been obsessed with that place since I was a
Yes,
wee
I
child.
think we should go somewhere not in San Diego. I agree. I think we should go somewhere
I
else.
agree too because I live here. As we know
Yes.
from episode 1 because you gave that away.
Got job for you in the future.
We also have not done any investigation in the LA district, LA area, and that's something that we should think about because LA be haunted, haunted as hell. And we haven't
There's
even
a
done
certain
that.
place that I don't know if I want to ever walk into.
I would
Mm.
walk into it, but I don't think I would stay the night.
Are we all thinking about the same hotel?
I
I
think we
think
are
so.
because I would not stay the night there, but I would definitely walk in the lobby and look at it. We should invest in
Ugh.
some. The
No, thank you.
But going back to the hotel, it is a lovely hotel. When we were staying there were a lot of people there booking to stay there because it is on the Gaslamp District where all the bars are. So it is a lovely hotel to stay at, even if you don't know it's haunted. Because I feel like a lot of people book that hotel not even knowing it's haunted.
Mm-hmm.
And they do have a really big event center, so a lot of people look like they have events there.
I think
So it
that there was
does.
a wedding when we were there.
I think so too. I feel like they blocked off like the center part and there was people in there.
There
It
was. It
was a
was
cute little
beautiful.
courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's called. The courtyard. You could book the courtyard for events. But they also have a really cool bar. So if you're staying there, you have access to a bar, which we did before our night began. We did stop and get some drinks to get the ball rolling before we went on to our ghost investigations. Highly recommend. The drinks were amazing.
Yes, Brie and I got 2 Long Islands.
They were amazing. So after
They
the
were
first one, we
so
were
good.
like, let's
They
get
were good.
another one. And so we got two. And I want to say, even when we made it back from our haunted hotel stuff, we went back to our room and we're like, this is so fun. Let's just stay up all night and see if we see anything. So, one of our friends brought a big bottle of wine and we sat there and we played a board game to see if we see anything.
Yeah, not any board game. We played a murder mystery
Yeah, you know
game.
those board games where you try to find out who murdered who? We played one of those because nothing
Highly
says
recommend.
yes. Very fun.
Yes.
But as the night went on, people started falling asleep, and of course, I was the last one awake. So as the last one awake, I'm lying there in the bed thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to hear something. I'm going to see something." Of course, I didn't. I didn't see anything or hear anything
Mm-hmm.
because again, this hotel is on the corner of the gas light lamp district and there is people just outside all night just hanging around. So anything you hear is probably someone outside because they're partying.
Yeah, I kind of hoped that something would happen, but of course we didn't even have like one of the haunted rooms, so
It
I
was a
was
cool.
perfectly happy with nothing happening. I had
It
enough from going into the Montezuma house and the Canary house and not the
and
Canary house,
the
the
Davis Horton.
Davis Horton. That was
yeah,
good.
during this time we for this particular tour, like I said, we weren't allowed in the Whaley house. Highly
Yeah, I
recommend
think
doing
they
a
were
separate tour for that.
closed.
Yes, they have their own tour where they will let you go inside. I would really like to go inside the Whaley house if I go back because they only let us walk around the property.
Wait,
The
you
Whaley
haven't been
house
in
is where
the
someone
Whaley
was in the
house?
window, right?
No, we haven't been in the Whaley house.
No, no, from the outside you see like the shadow.
Yeah, from the
You
outside.
can.
You,
Okay, so you guys need to make a trip out to San Diego and let's go on the tour of the Whaley house. I
And
love the Whaley House. There's just so much stuff that's gone on there that it's so interesting to me.
yes, we will talk about
And a
that in
lot of it's
another
still there.
episode. The Whaley House is its own separate episode because so much is going on in Old Town and the Whaley House, which is a big part of Old Town, the street of Old Town that it's on.
I think we're ready to power down.
Sorry, guys. We started real late this time, but I hope you guys still enjoyed our experience with these locations, and hearing a bit more about them.
Yeah, when I was researching this topic, I was surprised to hear that a lot of people haven't done any investigations on this house, which was interesting to me. I don't know if it's because it's a protected historical site, but if you're ever in San Diego, definitely go and check this out. It is very interesting. Like I said, instant change in once you walk through that house. If you're someone who is very easily, you can sense that, you'll know right away once you walk onto the property, like some of us did.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to hear your stories. If you've already been into the Davis Horton House, um, let us know what you think, how you felt when you went in. If you're thinking of going, also share with us the excitement because that's cool.
Also, give us more ideas for haunted locations, whether it be San Diego, LA, Southern California, or even in a different state. We mostly have covered California because that's where we are, and so we already have a lot of this knowledge.
Yes, so maybe we'll in the future make a poll and do another investigation if you guys are interested in a different area, and we'll start working towards that. But as for next time, it's going to be very fun. It is a very interesting episode next time. It's going to be one of our special segments, and we will be talking about Cinderella. And I know a lot of you are like, Disney? Maybe just a little Disney. But mostly we're going to be talking about the actual fairy tales that originated making the Cinderella you know today.
And talking about um, the Brothers Grimm version of Cinderella, which can be a bit intense.
And
I love
other
it.
twisted versions,
Yes.
including a leather wearing Cinderella version, skin
I love that
wearing.
one.
Do you remember that one?
I
We'll dive
do.
in. We'll get back to it. We'll get back to
We'll get back to you that in the next episode.
it.
But we're also gonna make some little drinky drinks to start off these episodes, these special segments to make it extra fun for us.
Yeah, what did
And
we
we're gonna
decide on the
leave
name
those
for that?
recipes on all our social medias so that you guys can try them if you want.
What did we decide on the name for this special segment?
We have a bunch of not great ideas, but we can share them for sure. Let me
Maybe
see.
we this is our first poll to ask our listeners.
Yeah,
What
there
should
is
we
a
name our
few
special
names
segment?
going on. We will leave that in some of the polls if you guys are interested. If not, we might just like toss a coin, roll a dice, and we'll
Oh,
see
we
how
could
that
do one of
goes.
those spinny wheel things.
Ooh, okay.
Do
Let's just do that.
that.
Let's just
Or is that
after
too
the
much to
poll.
chance?
All
I mean, if you don't like it, you know you don't like
Yeah,
it.
there you go.
right. Well, we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Keep it spooky.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. For more ghoulish fun, connect with us on our social medias, Geeky Ghouls or Geeky Ghouls Podcast.
We'd love to hear your suggestions on topics for future episodes. Share your fan art and overall comments about this week's topic.
You can also join our Geeky Coven on Patreon and unlock exclusive content and perks. Your support means the world to us.
Catch us on the next episode of Geeky Ghouls.